All right, we're rolling.
We're rolling? All right. Welcome to the Yellow Light District where almost everything is okay. We're mixing it up today. We're doing a little two-man podcast just to get a hang of things, just to see maybe if this helps the pacing a bit more. And this is kind of just an experimental podcast, and we're going to see how it works. So, how's your day going, Andy?
Pretty good. Went thrift shopping today.
You got any tuxedos?
No tuxedos, but we got Gavin here. How's your day going, bud?
My day, it's going pretty shitty, you know. I just went from thrift shop to thrift shop to watch you guys try on tuxedos.
Yeah.
Your little Gatsby party.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger. Got the 1920s party for the 2020s for New Year's Eve tomorrow. But by the time this is uploaded, it'll already happened. So what's the topic for today, Gav?
The topic for
Talk
today.
to me. What are we talking about?
You know, I thought we'd kind of go a little more, a little sentimental, a little more, personal for this little two-man podcast today. And I thought we would talk about aging, mortality, and death.
All right. So you want to start it off?
Yeah, I guess I'll start it off. The reason, I kind of got this topic was actually, just listening to my dad talk about getting old, and his biggest fear of actually when he gets old is to be in a state where maybe he has a stroke or something and he has to be hospitalized and he can't use anything. He's basically a vegetable. That's his biggest fear.
Oh, that's his biggest fear. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying he wants to be like that. I was like, what?
No. And then he was saying to me, like, if he had a choice, that he would take a pill to like avoid that entire thing and just like say his goodbyes and just go to sleep. And I remember like listening to that, being like, "Holy shit, this is fucking like sad." And it just hit me differently than a lot of the other things that he's said.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I agree with the part where he would rather have a pill just to end it. Because I know a lot of people would rather go out in their sleep or just in a peaceful way. But I know my grandpa's 92. He'll be 93 in a month, and he always talks about dying. He knows it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. He's like getting rid of all his shit. He's packing all his stuff up and kind of giving it to me and AJ. But it's one of those things. I was talking to Rupesh about it the other day. We were talking. I drove him to Walmart to go grocery shopping. Rupesh is this Nepalese kid. He's from Nepal. He goes to my college. And we were talking, and he was telling me, we're talking about life. And we were talking about how life's so short, but it seems so long at the same time. If you have a timeline of the entire civilization of the human race, our lives are a dot, not even a dot, on that whole timeline. And it's just crazy to think about how short of a time span we're on Earth. But we could also have a huge impact on it, and also our lives are very insignificant at the same time, which is depressing to talk about, but it's pretty true. I think, at least. There's so many people that just like live their life and die and don't really do much.
Yeah, it's one thing that's kind of interesting about human life also.
So
it's you look at even human medicine and how it's affected everything and all these lives and the length of life.
Yeah.
But it seems like the only life that has been drastically improved is human life. Like I don't know historically what like the average dog expectancy is, or cat, or like all these things. But I know that there's a lot of animals that have always lived pretty long. We haven't changed anything about that. And it also, it just kind of makes me wonder, how long are humans really meant to live? Because typically, before the modern advances of medicine, we only lasted, what, like 35?
35. That's how it was in the Bible, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we didn't last that long.
But it kind of makes sense, though, because if you look at it, look at people that are 90. They're all shriveled up, and you can tell they're not really supposed to be alive,
And, and even the human psyche almost, like, after we get to a certain point, we kind of just, like, almost get really sad, really depressed all the time. We kind of wonder,
and your brain literally deteriorates when you get that old. Where if you're 35 dying, your brain's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, because most animals, like, when they die, I don't think they're, like, some are, like, withering and, like, husks of what they are, but a decent bit of them are still relatively muscular and strong animals. They're
Yeah.
just not there like physically sometimes, mentally, I guess you could say. I don't know. I just think that's one of those things that's interesting. Was we don't really know how long we were supposed to live.
Well, even with dogs and stuff, you can see that. Like we have medicine for dogs and
Mm-hmm.
cats, like the veterinarians and stuff. They can prolong life with surgeries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even they are getting.
But it's not like as much
It's
as
not.
like
Yeah,
it's not like an extra like what like what's life expectancy now, like 80 something.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's what, like 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any other species being able to do that for. Of course, we care more about.
Yeah, we're not going to focus on raising dog life expectancy, or is that that's not expectancy, is it? It's what's it called? The lifespan. I forget the word is.
Yeah, I guess lifespan probably works out. Probably checks out.
There's like a term for it.
But I just think like, also it's just, and you know, I'm at the age now where I'm turning 20 in a couple of months, and it's just like shit. I remember just like thinking I was like when I was like 10 years old, 15 so old. Now I'm 15, 20 so old, and it's just like you keep getting older and older and older, and you just keep wondering like when am I gonna stop growing up? 78 years is the average expectancy. Shit. So my dad's coming up on there.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, that's the average though. 78. That's people that die at birth and stuff.
I mean, 78 is probably pretty accurate. I mean, I see a lot of people that are like in their 60s dying now.
Yeah, that's true.
You probably realize it more and more the older you get, it's like how young people really are dying. But you know, some things are fluky, some things aren't natural causes. Really, natural causes are just when you get like 80 around there.
Yeah, I think it's also scary too, where everyone says the 20s and 30s, that's when you have to do most of the stuff in your life because you're young and have the energy to do it. But no one really knows what they want to do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, some people do, but I feel like most people don't.
That's the thing with school also. It's like, so we're putting them through in what is seen modernly as like the most important thing of your life is school.
Right.
High performance school is going to dictate the way you can live your life pretty much to most people. And we're setting kids up for that when their brains are hardly developed, really.
Yeah.
Like our brains aren't fully developed like we're 25.
Yeah, I think.
And we're asked to start the schooling system when we're like, yeah, guys, and we're asked to start the schooling system when we're around like 5 years old, really. You know, it's just one of those things. It's kind of weird, like the amount of pressure we put on it at such an early age, at a point where our brains aren't fully developed yet, or nearly fully developed yet.
Well, I think that's why they do it though, because your brain's developing, so they're teaching you.
Yeah, but I mean, you think they would be able to do it more. I mean, of course, you're gonna need to have some things by the age you're like 7 years old. You're gonna need to know like how to count and things like that. But I mean, when we're like 14 years old and learning some like really important things, you know, you would think like, okay, it's probably better to save some of this for later so we can actually remember this. Like, I don't know. It's the way
the schooling system, I think, is shit as it is.
What do you mean by that?
The schooling system, education system, it's not awful, but it has a lot of improvement it could have. You know, everyone talks about where they don't teach personal finance, really. They teach some stuff, but not really.
They don't teach
you the necessities.
I felt like even in our personal finance class, we weren't taught
it was a joke.
that much, really.
Yeah. It was just math problems using real world like wording. Mm-hmm. It was just you'd find a car payment, but it was given to you, and you just calculate the months. It was real basic.
Yeah, it wasn't like teaching us like the actual like verbiage, vocabulary you need for growing up in the world.
How to take out a loan, how to build your credit, how to make sure your taxes are right, file your taxes. They don't teach you about investing or anything in school, high school. You think they would teach you that?
That should be like one of the most important. That should be probably the most important thing you should be taught in school.
What, investing?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's top priority, but I think it's up there.
I mean, I know it's kind of a cliche for a lot of people. You just say, oh, you know, you could just like learn stocks and all that shit, and you'll be rich.
Yeah.
It's kind of true though. Like if you're really good at it and you learn it from a young age, you're gonna get good at it. If that's the only thing you really give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like I'd say, maybe if you got your kids through like half of high school and just pulled them out and said you're gonna be studying stocks and all this stuff for the next like 15 years, 10 years maybe. Like they're gonna be like geniuses when they get out and be able
Yeah,
to
exactly.
like, make like a lot of money.
I don't think you have to do that as long as you start investing at the age of I'd say between 18 because that's when you can legally start
Mm-hmm.
to be an adult. I'd say between like 18 and probably mid 20s. That's the best time to do it because the biggest thing with investing is time. So if you start, the earlier you start, the more you're gonna make.
Mm-hmm. And you could give the viewers a little advice on investing and some tips and tricks for investing in the modern world.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. I feel like there's a lot to learn. Um, it's one of those things you just got to get into it. You just got to start somewhere. I don't think there's any real steps to start at. It's pretty broad. You know, you can
Mhm.
start anywhere and kind of work on it. But what I've learned with it is the more you look at it, the harder it seems. Like every time you think you know something, you'll read another term or two that you have no idea what they are. Then you'll look into those two terms. It'll bring up 20 more terms to look at. Yeah, you'll start looking at investing. You'll see options. Like what the hell is options? You look up options. It'll talk about puts, calls, um, like deadlines, maturity rate, like all this shit. And then you have to look up all that stuff. It's just like it's like a big tree. Is that like the term? You start with one thing, you just keep spreading out.
Yeah, I guess that's a term. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed with it.
Mm-hmm. I guess like the more you do it, the more you learn.
Yeah, even if
Also.
you just go on Robinhood, not bad. If you throw in $1,000 or even $100 and just play around with it, just figure out how it all works.
Mm-hmm. Would you advise starting in small stocks? Do you think that's where the most growth is probably at in small stocks?
What do you mean small stocks?
Like stocks that are like around like
cheaper? Or
$20 and things like that.
I mean, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Price isn't necessarily everything. Because, I mean, I'm trying to think. There's big company. General Electric's pretty cheap, I'm pretty sure. It's like 20 some bucks. It's a huge company.
Yeah.
It just depends how many shares they have.
Well, honestly, like, do you do research on the company itself before you invest in a stock?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like the product, the chances. Like if you saw a product and you thought this is a really good product, you're gonna invest in it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd go into stuff that I know about, so I'm not gonna invest in like women's fashion or something. I want to do something like Tesla, something I'm interested in. You watch stuff about it, you want to learn about it, or you're confident in it. Like Apple, like everyone knows about Apple.
See, if I did it, I feel like I'd do it the opposite way. I would try and find the next Tesla. I know it sounds a lot easier.
That's
than
the
it really
goal
is.
of it. You want to look 10 years ahead. That's what I've been told. I think that's really good advice too. So you take a company like Tesla, and you say, where are they going to be at in 10 years? You know, are they going to be around? If they're not going to be around, then don't put money into them.
Yeah.
Because you want your money to be in that. You want the money you put in. You want to expect to lose. Don't expect to double your money, because you could lose all your money. So it's best to just put it in there, assuming you're going to lose all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you can't use emotions when investing.
Yeah.
You have to use reason and logic, which is really hard because you'll go on the stock market and see you lost $50 today, but then you could gain 500 tomorrow. You know.
Was it you or is it someone else that told me that like people expect Tesla to have a lot more competition in the next coming years?
I could see it.
Because I know like there's a lot of people are like there's a lot more companies that are trying to rival Tesla, and what are they, hybrids or are they just straight?
They're straight electric.
Straight electric.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are. There's a lot of companies that are getting more into the straight electric car business right now.
Yeah. Even like Toyota and Honda, they're doing fully electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting into it. I'm sure there's other companies starting up. But yeah, like I was talking to my brother about Apple. I don't think Apple is going to be that big in 10 years. Which he was very disagreeable with that. He was disagreeing with me on it. But I don't know. Apple just keeps doing the same thing every year they keep doing phones every year.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But I feel like Apple's smart enough to know that since they control so much of like everyone has an iPhone now.
Yeah.
And everyone like even though it's like kind of like shallow and a little stupid, everyone like wants to FaceTime people, iMessage people and things like that. Even the whole stigma that comes with being a green.
Yeah.
You know, like having the Android. People don't really like that, and so that makes people want to get iPhones. But what I think maybe their problem is when almost everyone has an iPhone and people that don't have an iPhone don't want to get an iPhone.
It's already kind of at a standstill.
Yeah, but then you have also Apple has this really kind of interesting consumer base where they're always getting the new iPhone.
That's what I'm saying. But
And
I feel like there's a
I don't think
point.
those people are going to change.
I feel like there's a point where people are just gonna be like, "Wait a sec, we're buying the same phone every year. There's always a little upgrade to it." But
Yeah, but I feel like those people are suckers. No offense if anyone watching our show is.
yeah, that's
one
what
of
I
those
think
people.
too. But they come out with like AirPods, TVs. Like there's little upgrades and changes with what they do. But I feel like they have to come out with something crazy, like a car. They have to start their own car company or something
Look,
to
iPhone,
stay relevant.
Apple is at the point right now where they could literally say you can only use devices that like you can only use like earphones that we develop.
Yeah,
You can only have a speaker that we develop. They're at a point they can do that.
Yeah.
And if they're at a point where they feel like they're not making enough money, damn, you know for damn sure they're gonna do that. They're gonna because they're really like they want a lot of money.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
greedy.
Yeah. So I don't think Apple's just gonna like drop off. I mean, Microsoft. Do you think Microsoft's still gonna be a thing in the next couple of years? Yeah. So what's the difference between them and Apple?
I don't know. It's a good point. But my whole point is you gotta look 10 years ahead,
Yeah.
at least 10 years.
You always want to find the next Apple
Yeah,
because there's
exactly.
more
You
there's
wanna
much
find-
more of a chance of growth in that.
There's, like with Amazon, if you would have invested in Amazon 10 years ago, I think it was like $5 a share. I don't
yeah.
know exactly, but it was under $100, and now it's over 1,000.
Yeah.
So you want to find that it's hard to do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
I mean, the thing is, still investing in Amazon. It's like in a few years, it'll probably be at like 15,000 a share.
Yeah.
Like it's growing pretty fast.
I don't see Amazon going anywhere unless there's some big lawsuit or something
Jeff-
illegal going on.
Jeff Bezos is a genius. Like
Yeah,
he has what $100-something billion.
Oh yeah.
He could just retire, and his generations upon generations. So he could probably retire, and his kids will be rich until the world ends.
Yeah.
Like they have so much money at a certain point, but he's still constantly working, and he's still trying to make his company the best.
I feel like he has a vision. He's not about the money. He's more
Mhm.
about changing the world.
He's also really he's a guy I kind of look up to with how charitable he is. Really, that's like it's just one of those things you kind of see. You're like, oh wow, look, this guy's very charitable. Like he's a good person, which you don't really see that much of nowadays.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, just to imagine like if you did invest in like Amazon like 15 like
Oh yeah,
years
people
ago.
did too. You know they did.
That's what you want to always find. And it's like just as a hobby, say, oh okay, like I like the way this sounds, and I think the thing is just we need to think of like okay, what's gonna be like well so like the 90s like we didn't really know much about like where it was gonna be like now with like how important like the internet is and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
And it's like thinking okay, so if I want to invest in all these companies that are like really using the internet heavily, if you were to do that, I think the biggest thing. I'm not like an expert in stocks, but I think the biggest thing you need in stocks is a big pair of balls
Oh yeah,
to do.
you have to be
whatever you
willing to
want.
take risks.
Yeah.
Higher risk, higher reward. But it's hard because it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Because for example, when Apple blew up,
Mhm.
and back when computers like first started coming around in the 90s and stuff, or like 80s, I'm sure people thought, computers aren't what are they gonna do? Just be able to type documents, that's it. They didn't know all this stuff was gonna happen with the internet and all that,
Mhm.
So, but you have to, it's just, I don't know, you have to predict that, but it's next to impossible to do. Same with Tesla and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think Tesla was, I don't know if they still are, but they were in a ton of debt. They were losing money by how many cars they were producing.
Mhm.
But they just want to get their stuff out there so people were talking about it and,
Yeah.
getting their name out
I
there.
mean, Netflix, they're in like a shit ton of debt now.
Yeah, no one would expect Netflix to blow up too.
Yeah, they're
It was
like
originally-
they're
they
like
were-
sending like discs out to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, and then because like even like 5 years after they were like the company that like sent discs out in the mail, I like heard Netflix like they're really big now. It's like really this company that's sending discs out in
Yeah.
the mail like a red box basically, but less convenient. I was like, there's no way they're doing it. And they're like, oh, well, we're doing streaming services now. I'm like, what the hell does streaming mean? They're like,
It's a whole new thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's like they pretty much revolutionized like the way like everything's doing now. And, like it's just one of those things you never know how something's gonna work.
And that's why it's like a gamble, basically. Because
Yeah.
TV, I'm sure people thought TVs were never going anywhere. I personally think TVs are dying off. Cable, like I'm talking about like television, like cable,
Yeah,
not
okay,
TVs
cable. Yeah, I was gonna say I
themselves.
don't see how yeah.
But no one like who watches TV besides our parents. I don't think many kids watch TV anymore because everything's on YouTube now. You can stream it off the internet.
Yeah, but then you say that, and then
Besides like Super Bowls, stuff like that.
Mhm. I
Even
mean,
that you can stream too.
I've tried it. It's not that well. It doesn't work that well, honestly. But I mean, you say the things like, "Oh, you don't need cable," and then you get rid of cable. Probably. I mean, I probably started watching more cable recently. But
Really?
yeah, but like then you just stop using it, and you're like, okay, yeah, I kind of need cable. There's only so many.
The news. I'd say it's like the only thing, and I don't even watch the news.
I don't watch the news, but there's only so many YouTube videos you can watch.
I beg to differ on that.
Really?
I have a good topic if you want to move on to.
Sure, let's go. Or is it about YouTube?
It's about
Okay.
in a sense.
Yeah, we can just segue into that.
So my thing is, we have the power of the internet. Especially, I'm going to say YouTube because that's what I use. But the internet as a whole, there's everything you can want to know on the internet, right?
Yeah.
YouTube, you can watch people do stuff. You can listen to people that have experience. Now, I want to talk about how two things about it. How it affects education.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can go to college. And I brought this up, I think, at Kevin's house one time. If I knew what I was studying at college, all these classes, all the subjects, if I had a sheet of all of the information of like the names of these classes, I could Google all this stuff.
Yeah.
And not come to school. I could probably learn more on the computer than what my professor's teaching me. Also, it's easy to say, but again, it's hard to do because we have this computer that we can do anything on. I'd say probably 95% of people, what do? They use it for entertainment, like games, movies, shows, YouTube just for entertainment purposes. No one really uses the full potential of technology.
Well, yeah.
And the people that do are doing it right, but I feel like that's a very small minority.
I think there's a decent bit of channels now on YouTube that kind of have the mission to like educate people.
Yeah.
But they're smart in the way they do it by entertaining them. When you're entertaining someone, you're getting their focus, and you're like kind of.
Well, no, I'm trying to split them up. And like, there's educational videos, even if they're entertaining.
Yeah.
But there's also people will watch people just play video games.
Yeah,
You're not really learning much from that. You could say it's educational. But I'm saying people look up, how to be more charismatic, how to build confidence, how to, you can learn about
self-improvement,
even classes. I could look up how to invest, stuff about investing. You can look up the acting techniques, whatever you're into.
You can research a lot of things. You can find a lot of things, but I mean, at the same time, though, I'm not gonna deny it. You can learn a lot from YouTube and the internet, but when you get a really good professor, and like it's a smaller class, and you can kind of just pick their brain, I think that's kind of the best thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's different, but I'm just saying, I think you have more potential with a computer than a professor.
I mean, I think there is definitely a spot for it. If a professor really wanted to make a lot of money and get his brand out there, I think it would be smarter for him to do like maybe some YouTube lessons on like some YouTube, just like talking about his things, like, and getting a good fan base there.
Yeah.
Because you can make a lot of money off YouTube. Although I believe they're having some controversy now with like the amount of money they're giving.
I don't know. I know there's stuff going on. I'm not sure what's going on.
And like I heard like David Dobrik like makes like a lot less money now.
Yeah, I know. PewDiePie I think PewDiePie or Logan Paul or somebody. Every video they posted, they made $100,000.
Shit.
Or something
But
ridiculous.
Isn't a decent bit of that though really the endorsements and those like things they've had? Like I know Casey Neistat, that's how you say his name, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He like said like because I know like H3 was talking about he had like endorsements and he had like advertisements on YouTube for like things I guess like those like VPN things and those things. So it's like you get like 100,000 when the whole thing's said and done. And Casey Neistat said, "Oh, I've made much more than that on some of my endorsements."
You talking about like sponsorships?
Yeah, sponsorships. Yeah. That's a better one.
Sponsorships. That's probably where you make the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Because you talk about it in the video.
Yeah.
You make money off the ads too. If you monetize your videos.
Really?
Yeah.
How much money?
You get a small percentage. I'm not sure. Not much. I think it's like a few cents. But if you have a million views per video, and you have an ad at the beginning, middle, and end, a million times.
They're doing
3.
these double ads now, also.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how it works. I used to monetize on my last channel before it got deleted.
Pins and needles right now on my foot.
I made $100 off my last channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like?
I didn't get it, but I made that much money.
How much of that was towards the end?
That was like right at the end.
Really?
Yeah.
So like.
And I think back then, I don't know if it's the same now. It was a couple years ago, but if you made $100, you'd have to make that as a minimum to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't send you if you made like $2. They wouldn't send you that. You have to make $100, and then they give you your check.
So you were at like 1,000.
No, I was at $100.
Yeah, but like you were at like $1,000 and you're making $100. You had 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
You're making $100.
Yeah, but it's based on views. I'm pretty sure.
Hey, we're at like 800 subscribers right now.
Yeah, but we don't have that many views.
Yeah, I know. We need to get a consistent viewership.
But
Hey,
to monetize, I think you need 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of views in the past month. I think it's like 10,000.
Right, a little side note to all the viewers that actually listen to us. Don't be afraid to put in the comment section things you want us to talk about, recommendations for our channel. You know, we want to get better. We want to entertain you guys. That's kind of the whole point of this podcast. Even though it's fun for us, we still would like to entertain you guys and know what you guys want too. So.
Yeah, we also want to engage too. So if you guys want to leave a comment about your opinion or criticism, constructive criticism, or just want to put your input on a topic, feel free to.
Make fun of us too. You know,
yeah, you can rip on us. It's all right. That's what we do.
But yeah, back to YouTube and the knowledge that comes from.
Yeah. See, I mean, I don't know. That's my perspective, and I'll admit too, it's really hard for me to implement stuff I learned. I'll watch a video about investing, which is it's just an easy example, but I'll listen to this. I'm better as a visual learner rather than reading or taking notes in a classroom. I'm more of a hands-on. So if I see someone performing what I'm, learning about, I can learn it better if I see it more visual. So if I see a video of someone investing or just talking about how to talk to people and get them to, like, for sales or something, and I see like examples of it, I can learn it better, but it's hard for me to implement that. And when you're watching videos about confidence or, how to self-improve yourself with public speaking and stuff like that, I understand what they're telling me, but it's hard for me to take that information and actually implement it. Yeah. I listen to it, I absorb it, but I don't implement it into my life. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, also I think the whole thing with YouTube and searching a video, you want to learn it more than when you just go to a class.
Yeah, exactly. If you're putting your own free time into learning something, it shows that, yeah.
Yeah, when you make the mental, leap of, I want to learn this thing, and you go, you research this stuff, and you actively try to learn it, you're gonna get a lot more knowledge in that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that's a pretty big reason of why I feel like I learn so much from the internet and YouTube, because I'm putting my own time and effort into researching these things, and I actually want to know what it is. Not for a teacher's project or
because you have to do it.
Yeah, it's like because I'm making the choice, and I think that's the best. If a teacher could trick you into researching these things and could make you actually interested in it, that would be the best type of teacher.
Yeah,
I don't think any teacher I've really had has ever made me interested in anything. So I think that's a big problem with school.
Yeah, different. It depends on the teacher too.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of classes, they're the same class but different teachers, and people learn a lot better from different teachers based on the class has nothing to do with it. It's mainly the teacher. So people, when they're looking stuff up, I think life's a race. We have so many people at the same level as us, and there's kids out there playing Xbox at our age full time, and there's people doing whatever. But if you use this as your free time, or you learn in your free time, I think you're beating other people in a race. That's how I look at it. I'm in college. I'm friends with people here, but at the end of the day, we're all competing for the same job, right?
I think we also have one of the most lazy generations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have this potential, but everyone's just using it to be lazy.
That's why,
Netflix and stuff.
I mean, when we were growing up, minimum wage was one of those things. Everyone would work for minimum wage. They didn't really care. Now, hell, you go to McDonald's, and they haven't passed the minimum wage bill, right? It's still 7.
I heard it's going up to 15 soon.
Is it actually?
That's what my mom said. But she could be lying. It's
So-
going up in states around us.
Because I was saying, like, I went to like see McDonald's and they like made like an ad for like people, and it was like 12 something dollars an hour, which is like kind of crazy, seeing as they were going around like 7.50 a couple of like years ago. I think it kind of speaks volumes also.
So apparently they're bringing minimum wage up to $9.50 January. That's of 2022.
So okay, all right. So I'm not sounding like that much of an idiot, but yeah. So now McDonald's went from like minimum wage.
Well, no, in July they're bringing it up to $8.50 next
Okay,
year.
yeah. So yeah. So McDonald's went
What
from
is it? 70.25.
$7.50.
$7.50.
I think it's $7.50. They're paying minimum wage to like all these like workers like a couple of years ago. Now they're having to pay like $12.75 an hour, and I think a decent bit of that is because they're not finding anyone that wants to work.
Oh yeah.
And that's
$7 is nothing, dude.
Yeah.
What can you buy with $7?
Yeah,
Barely a
that's a good
meal. Unless you're going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Is like, my grandpa always talks about when he worked when he was 10 years old. Because back then back in the 20s or 30s, it was the 30s. Back in 1930s, you could work at the age of 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at a bowling alley, but he made 10 cents an hour. He had to work. Everyone had to work for their families back then.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because you just wanted your own money. But he made 10 cents an hour. And he talks about how candy used to be a penny or a nickel for a whole bucket of candy.
Shit.
I think it was a nickel. But I said, yeah, but you made 10 cents an hour, you know? So that's like us today spending $3.50 on a bag of candy, you know? It's the same thing. And everyone wants to raise the minimum wage to like 15. But
It's not gonna
everything
change
else,
anything.
everything else is gonna raise with it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know why people raise minimum wage. I think it would probably work for a few months, and then people start raising prices, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah,
It just decreases the value of the money.
I think that's kind of the thing. It's like, well, minimum wage. Also, you say like you can barely like get anything off minimum wage. The idea of minimum wage isn't to live comfortably.
Yeah.
It's just to get by. It's minimum wage.
Yeah.
You want to be looking for jobs that pay more than minimum wage.
Minimum wage is to survive.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like the reason McDonald's was paying everyone minimum wage was because they could, and they probably still could, because I feel like there's people that are desperate enough to always work those jobs. So that's kind of the way capitalism works.
Yeah, there's people, especially people in high school, they want to have a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that's the only job they can get, whether it's a felony they have or some issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know all the reasons, but there's reasons that people have to work those jobs.
Yeah.
And it'll always be like that, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. That's just, it's a shitty part of life.
Yeah.
It's shitty that some people have to work these jobs, but it's just the way life is, you know?
Yeah, life's not fair.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's not. I mean,
Yeah, it's not, A lot of people don't get what they want, A lot of people have to take jobs they don't want to take, That's one of those things I'm still learning. Even when I start a shitty job and I'm getting paid a lot of money for it, you don't want to stay at that job, but you kind of have to sometimes, and
yeah, that's something that's tough. I feel like we should be working on jobs that benefit us in the long run.
Mhm.
But right now, I'm more focused on the pay.
yeah.
I'm more focused on how much I'm gonna make.
Although, I mean, if you gave me a job that would pay 16 an hour, or a job that like I really enjoyed that would pay me 12 an hour, as of right now, like just to have a job on the side,
Yeah.
I'd probably take the $12 job.
Yeah, it's better for us because we're young
Mm-hmm.
to have a job that's more beneficial. If I could get a job with some financing, making $10 an hour, it's probably better for me to do that than take a job that pays 18 an hour, but I'm not really learning anything.
Yeah.
They're benefiting my career options, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have any experience really for finance.
Yeah.
Based on working in a golf course and a farm and a retail store,
Hey, the retail store, you never
a
know.
little bit of sales. I could BS it.
Yeah. Or we could just finesse them out of their store and run the
Yeah, we
beef
should.
jerky outlet.
That's another thing too. Is we need to start a business.
Hey, I'll start a business. I saw something where it's if you pay $60,000 for I think it was a bulldozer or something, and then you rent it out for
Yeah.
$700 a day. It's you'd make I think let me pull it up. I think it was you'd make make the money back in around a year. Say Yeah, you buy it for $60,000. 86 days, you'd make it back at $60,000 if you rented it out $700 a day.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, and then
Think
imagine
if you have
you got, and then
5 of those.
yeah, you do that, get another one. You do that, get another one. You have it, and you're like fucking. I think also it said like, and then if you imagine if you had 10, that would earn you $7,000 a day.
Yeah, if you rent them all out.
In a month, it would get you around $210,000.
If you rent them out every day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So there's like an excavation, something like that.
Yeah.
It would like, I mean, you're making a shitload of fucking money.
That's why I think real estate's a good thing. I feel like it's really hard, but as a principle, on a very basic premise, it's you buy a house, you make passive income off it. You have to do, work on it, like fixing the gas lines or water pipes or whatever. But that house, because my parents own a second house across the street, they make $500 every month just for having someone live in it. I mean, they have to make repairs and stuff, like I said, but that's what, $6,000 a year
Shit, yeah.
just for owning that house.
What's a real estate tax?
I'm not sure.
That's
But think if you have 5 properties, that's what, $30,000 a year. Then you could buy another house at some point and just keep adding to that. I mean, it's a lot more work than and there's a point where it's a full-time job. You have to get tenants, you have to manage the property.
Yeah.
But still, you can make it a full-time job.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I know I say this a lot. And the older I get, the more I realize, and the more I do realize that location's everything in real estate.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's with any business, I feel.
Yeah.
Location
but
is everything.
Real estate's definitely the most important part is location because
Yeah.
if you say you have a house in an area that's not like really that crowded, there's not many businesses around it, then all of a sudden people see this as a good area, they start adding things to it, they bring in some more shops, and people start coming there more and more often. So people start, hey, I want to get some more, I want to live here, I think this is a good place to live, they're building a school around here, so then your real estate, the value of your real estate goes up that much more. And it's just like you can't really predict that a lot of the time.
It's invested.
It is investing.
Investing in real estate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you got to predict that shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I guarantee there was a point where Florida wasn't as big as it was. I don't know when, but I'm sure.
Hey, you want to get some money investing in Florida? Invest like slowly invest more centrally into Florida.
Because of the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
But I'm just
saying,
saying,
then you get the beach and and then you're gonna be in Orlando, the center of the fucking state, and I got a nice beach view.
But there's some point where people had to buy property in Florida, not knowing where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
But look at it now. Florida's massive. Same with California.
Hawaii. Actually, Hawaii. I think people.
It's probably always expensive.
People in Hawaii probably knew they have the shit there.
Yeah.
Alaska also, I'm pretty sure, has a decent
vacation lodges or cabins or something.
It's nice. It's a beautiful place in Alaska if you go to the right places.
Yeah, I think that's my main goal in life, though, is to have a business or some sort of side hustle other than my career to the point where that becomes a career.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is yet.
My goal, one of my side goals, sorry if I cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Is to have kind of a self-sustaining business.
Yeah.
That kind of runs itself and it brings in the income to me. So I feel like if your business is at a point where it's self-sustaining, which I'm not sure how easy that is to do, it probably sounds a lot easier than it actually is.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Because everyone would be doing it, right?
Mm-hmm. When it's self-sustaining and it's bringing you in money, you pretty much don't have to do anything. Although I feel like
passive income.
Yeah, if you did a self-sustaining type of income, it'd get kind of boring really quickly. And I feel like as humans, we kind of need.
Yeah, but if you have that passive income, you can do something else and have those too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The real estate thing, it's not exactly passive because you have to manage it and find tenants and keep up maintenance. But at some point, like I said, my parents, they're living with me. They're working their own jobs in our house, but we have that other house bringing in $500 a month, which is something,
Yeah.
And you're not really working for that, right? It's just kind of there. But I know I was looking into business ideas that are like that are real low maintenance, that bring in a lot of money, and storage units
Really?
are really good. Think about it. You buy a property, you make it 3 stories, fill it with storage units, you rent those out, people pay for them just for having stuff in there. You don't have to even clean those really.
How big of a demand is it, though, you think?
They just built one up in Robinson.
Yeah, there's because I know they built one right by my house a couple of years ago. But
There's one.
I don't know how often those are being used. I would assume they're actually being
They're
used.
always. I'm sure someone's always using them.
Yeah.
There's some by, uh, like Meineke, where we just came from. There's some storage units over there. There's some, right off the exit 79.
Yeah.
Coriopolis.
I mean, also I feel like if you have a storage unit, you kind of also have to be a little bit rich too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things is you have to have the capital to start anything. Like the jerky store, I don't want to name the name, but the jerky store, I think the franchise alone to have the license is 100,000, 120,000.
Really?
I think so. Just to buy the right to open up a store with them, but then you got to buy the property, you got to buy the products and stuff. But that's really not that bad.
How much does the franchise help out with that though?
With what?
I know Chick-fil-A, if you want to start a business with them or want to start a Chick-fil-A place,
Like
they help you. Yeah, franchise. They help you out a lot with it.
Yeah. Well, I know the jerky place they send people there to check on it, make sure it's keeping up to their standards. They send in secret shoppers and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they do maintain it. But you have, I guess what I'm saying, I feel like it's kind of more of a partnership in a way. We're not just on your own because they already have the product. You're just reselling it. You're not coming up with your own product and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'd be a lot harder to start your own, fashion store, your own clothing store, market your own merchandise, your own brand, and then have that stuff sold. It'd be a lot tougher. But then again, you're making more money. Yeah. It's your product.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah.
I think it's always been my dream to kind of open up a restaurant also.
Yeah, we were talking about that, a bar.
Yeah, a bar, a restaurant, something where it's it wouldn't even, the goal wouldn't be to make money from it. The goal is to make money, but it's say I have my own restaurant and something like that. I feel like that'd be really cool for me. I'm not sure why. It's just one of those things I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I would be in for that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a cool experience. Plus, if we had 10 people involved in it, we could do the podcast. You have certain people there most of the time, and then have people switch in and out, help out. And then plus we all have our money to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Where if it costs, say, $500,000 to start up a restaurant, all the expenses, one person, that's going to be tough. We have 10 people doing that or 11 people. That's what, $50,000 a person?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I thought that would cause issues, though. You gotta be careful.
Also, the best thing at the restaurant is to have something that's unique.
Oh yeah, I feel that's with anything.
Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of business videos. The 3 things to beat other competition: better price, better product or service, and better customer service.
Mm-hmm. I feel because if you stand out from the crowd and you have your own idea that you can say, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
When you make something that people have to copy, that's when you're in the best spot.
Oh yeah. And I learned in marketing too, which is really fascinating to me because I never thought of this year. When you sell, you're always selling a feeling or an idea. You're never selling the actual product.
Mm-hmm.
So in marketing, we learned you're not selling a bottle of shampoo. You're selling a way for you to get clean and smell good.
Yeah.
That's what you're actually doing. And even if you start your own product, you're not just creating a shampoo. Why are people going to buy it? That's what you have to look for. If you're selling, you're not selling a burger. You're selling a quality food that tastes good and it fulfills someone's hunger.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to think of. I never thought of it like that. But that's what you do in sales, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah. I do think that also that mindset makes you more productive also.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I mean, I feel though it makes it more interesting. Anytime you can make it more interesting, more entertaining for yourself, the more you're going to be into doing it.
As the seller, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like you subconsciously know that that's what it's for, but you really just think, I want this shampoo because I just like it, You don't really think about all that. Same with clothing brands. You know, a lot of clothing brands you buy it for the brand name. You don't buy it because it keeps you warm and it makes you. I mean, it makes you look good. Yeah, that's the only reason. But you know, you'll buy Nike shoes because it's Nike. You know, you're
Yeah.
not gonna buy a random knockoff pair of shoes. People buy Gucci handbags because it's Gucci. They'll spend thousands of dollars. You could buy a handbag at a Kohl's or something for like $10. You know,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
How do you like? How do you think you build a reputation like that? Like, how do you think Gucci built up the reputation of like, oh, like I need to have this. This is like, and things that don't even really look that good. People will still spend an arm and a
Just
leg
because it's the brand
just because
name.
it's got the name Gucci.
We learned about that in marketing a little bit. There's people like businesses like Gucci and Louis Vuitton that literally just focus on the brand name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure there's cologne out there that smells better than Gucci, but it's cheaper. But no one, they're gonna buy the brand name one mainly because I don't know, I feel like it's more of a status. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for not prestige, but like the status it gives you, not really the actual product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that is kind of the point when you.
It's kind of show off.
Yeah, but
So,
I just
how do you?
wonder how do you make a business that gets to that point where it's
Yeah,
just, oh, it doesn't look that good. I mean, not saying that everything Gucci. I think Gucci makes some really good looking clothes, but sometimes they release some real stinkers also, and people will still spend an arm and a leg for them. Like, how do you think?
how do you start
Yeah,
off?
how do you? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Is it just
That's
making
something.
a good reputation for yourself? Like,
That's a good question. That's something definitely to research. But I would think maybe in today's world, if you wanted to start something like that, probably getting some rapper or some celebrity to use your product
mm-hmm.
and then have it at a high price, people check it out. I feel like you have to pay for a lot of marketing.
Do you think if you just like say, so let's say I'm holding a beer right here, and I just said it's regular beer pretty much. I'm basically just repackaging this beer, but I'm gonna like rake it up 20%, and I'm gonna like ask like this person to endorse it. That's a pretty big figure. Do you think kind of like by the exclusivity of it, people will be more interested to buy it?
Yeah, because that's how Gucci is and Louis Vuitton. They don't sell their stuff everywhere. It's you literally have to go to a Gucci store to buy it.
Yeah. So you think it's the exclusivity that kind of makes it more interesting to say not
Yeah,
everyone has this.
definitely. I think it's not the only thing, but it's a big aspect.
So yeah. I feel like if you basically can get some clout around an item, not that even that much clout, but just a decent bit of clout, and you can make it so not everyone can get it. People are gonna get it and like save up to get it just to flex on people, kind
Oh
of
yeah, that's
show what they have.
Doesn't Supreme do that? They do drops, and once they sell out, they're done.
I'm not
I
sure.
know there's people that do that. I don't know if Supreme does it. Like Nelk, you know Nelk Boys. You guys do all the prank videos and stuff.
No, we're talking.
All right. Well, basically, what they do is they have drops every month or every few months. They'll create different styles of clothing. So they'll have hoodies, t-shirts, socks, pants, beer bong, stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
they'll make it a one-time thing. So they'll make a design for a shirt, and once they make that design, they release it for the drop. But after that, they never have that design again. So it's a limited time thing. So everyone rushes to buy their stuff because they have a reputation, a brand name because of what they do on YouTube. But that aspect of the fact that it's limited time, it's rare, it's a one time purchase, and you're gonna have it like that fanny pack I have up there. They're never dropping that again. That hat. That's their full send brand. Like they made that, they're never coming out with that same hat again.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone rushes to buy it because it's a rare, exclusive thing.
Yeah.
And once they sell out, they're done. And they do sell out within hours. I'd say within minutes for a lot of this stuff.
Well, how'd you get those then?
You just have to be on there as soon as the website opens.
You went through all that just to get that?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, but don't you think it's kind of weird though, like how like we all operate where we want the exclusive thing, we want the thing that not everyone can get.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Everyone wants to be different. I think you want to fit in, but you also want to be different at the same time.
I feel like also everyone like not everyone, but the people that do this are like low key, kind of wanting to like show they're better than people.
In a sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a better word for it.
Yeah.
Than saying you're better, but
yeah.
Just it's like that bragging, right?
Do you think any of it has to do with attracting the other sex?
Sometimes.
It has to be more for men because I don't see many men.
Men are more competitive.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a big thing too.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you ask? If it, you're talking about exclusive stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking more about the price.
The price?
I guess. Oh, it's a limited drop. You know, like, say they release a hoodie like this for like $900. People are gonna want to spend that much money on a hoodie if it's known as a hoodie that has $900. That's like got the $900 value.
Yeah, if you know the price of it.
Yeah.
Because that's a good thing. Because one of the guys that lives here, one of my fraternity brothers, he bought a hoodie at Walmart that was a nice hoodie, and he was telling us it was like $12. And I told him I never would have guessed that was $12 unless you told me. I think it was like a $30, $40 hoodie. But the fact that you don't know the price changes your mentality of it in a way. It's weird to think about. Because I didn't know that it doesn't have a brand name like a Nike symbol or anything. But when you see anything Gucci, you're like, damn, that was a couple grand, you know?
Yeah. That's just the thing, like, that's like, because I feel like no one buys Gucci because, like, the way it looks.
Yeah.
They buy it because the prestige.
It's Gucci.
They want to say, oh, look at my Gucci hoodie and all this shit. So, that's what I kind of think about it. Well.
And that's another big issue, too, is people spending their money so much and not saving it.
Yeah, we have a lot
We
of
talk
people
about that all the time.
Don't like to save their money. Like, I never spend my money, really, unless I'm, like, getting, like, food or eating out with people.
Yeah.
I really don't spend my money, like, on different clothes that much, really.
Unless I need clothes.
Yeah.
I've had the same clothes for years.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't look at... I mean, I'm sure people that are into fashion view it differently.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fashion guy. I'll spend my money somewhere else that I'm interested in, I guess. But at the same time, there's people that I feel like aren't fully into fashion. That's, like, their passion. But they just buy nice clothes to show off, you know?
Anytime I spend money, I always regret spending money.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I feel like is kind of a good thing to have.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I know my brother, like, he always spends a lot of money on things. And, like, he always gets new TVs and things like that.
I know people that get their paychecks, they buy a new pair of shoes, buy a whole new outfit, go out to eat at nice places. And I think being frugal is a whole different topic. I'd like to use that as another podcast topic.
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually.
Well, there's a lot of people. I hate the people that, like, have income, and if they, like, saved it right, they wouldn't be in the situation they are.
Yeah.
But they don't save it right, and then they complain that they're not making enough money.
Yeah.
And they try and make it the government's fault and all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I hate. Because it's just, you're just showing your ineptitude, basically, of saving money. And just, I feel like maybe it's because some people aren't raised to really appreciate money and the value of money.
It's back to education, I think, too.
Yeah, a lot of it.
And the way you're raised, but how they were raised, how your parents were raised, how their parents were raised, how what the schools taught them.
And culture, too.
Yeah.
I think culture is the biggest part.
Oh, that probably is, yeah. Compared to different countries and around the world.
Even different cultures in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it. Like, there's a lot of people that just, when they get their money, they just immediately spend it on, like, the next best thing. They don't save it. They never really look into the future, it seems like. It seems like there was this focusing
in the
on,
moment.
Yeah.
And I read another, I think it was either a YouTube video or some article I was reading, but it was talking about the best thing to do in life is to do everything now, looking out for yourself in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So think of not every decision, but try to at least, like, try to think of every decision you make, how will this benefit me in 10 years? You know?
Yeah.
Like, for going to the gym, it sucks in the moment, but it's going to pay off in the long run. It's a lot of everything that's basically an instant pleasure is going to hurt you in the long run.
Although sometimes,
not everything, but I'd say majority.
Like, sometimes if, like, let's say you really want to go to, like, a concert or something with
your friends, but that has value, long-term value, memories, relationships, if you have people. But I'm saying, like, if you want to eat a piece of chocolate, it's going to taste good for the 30 seconds you're chewing on it. But once that chocolate's in you, Is that gonna in the next 10 years? Is that gonna make you gain weight or lose weight? That's how. I mean, that's a very basic example.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah. Well, like we said earlier on the podcast, if you have any recommendations, any topics, any constructive or just mean criticism, just let us know. My name's Gavin Ward. Your name is
Andy.
And this has been the Yellow Light District, where almost everything is okay.
Yeah. Episode 7.
In the books.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it.
Let us know what you think about the 2-person format for this podcast. I feel like it has some dry moments, but, I feel like if we just get some more topics ready, we'll be in a better spot.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Peace out.